All these rumors are fun to talk about, and Red Bull hasn't blown up yet.
Alex Albon's birthday, and his gift, Logan Sargent's car.
With the drain covers, why is this such a big issue?
That's what I'm saying. Alonso more and more is looking like Aaron Rodgers.
He's geriatric. We just kind of want him for merit mark.
You cannot win a constructor's battle when your second driver is not performing.
Grab your popcorn, folks. Things are getting crazy.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Lights Out Latest. My name is Marina. I'm here with Jason, Steven, and Tristan. And man, do we have a lot of contract talk to get into. I mean, Austria was cool and all, but I feel like this stuff is more interesting than the race. Maybe that's a hot take.
Depends on who you're a fan of.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna say,
lawyer
maybe
talk. Nobody likes lawyer talk.
I was gonna say I think it's just Max Verstappen fan talk.
That's fair. You don't want to talk about the
I've
angle.
seen a lot of discourse online though this week about people discussing whether or not it is the appropriate reaction to if your favorite driver DNFs, you just turn off the race and don't watch it anymore.
I personally
have never done it, and
yeah.
trust me, but it's tough because Max also doesn't DNF that often. So I feel like I can't really say anything. But immediately,
context based, like
yeah,
if you DNF'd in a certain way that pissed you off so mad that you like have to just walk away.
Yeah.
If it was like 10 laps to go and they were leading and then like they're taken out, it's like
oh
okay.
my god,
Yeah, it's kind of like then who do you care? I mean, it's the start of a race.
Back to
but...
21. That's
Yeah.
that's a perfect example of when I would just like turn it off.
But Baku 21 had an entertaining end.
Yeah,
It wasn't like clear who was gonna win.
But before the end, you would have expected Lewis to just win.
Yeah,
and so
but,
therefore, if Max DNF the way he did, and I kept watching, but it would have been a perfect time for me to just be like, you know what, F this,
Yeah.
I'm turning it off.
yeah.
I mean, I will say
Whatever.
with F1 is a bit more unique. I feel like in terms of other sports, there's definitely times I've done that, but I think F1 there's enough drivers that you probably like that you would probably keep it on. You know?
That's what I was going to say. I think a lot of people have been
Yeah.
saying, and I've done that. I was like, that's exactly what I did.
There's a lot more neutral fans in racing who just want to watch the race.
The race.
And they care about the characters and the people in it, but like they don't really die hard one team or another.
That's kind of like me in F1. I don't have like I do like Fernando quite a bit, but I don't have a for sure favorite driver. Like I just kind of watch to watch. NASCAR is kind of like that for me now too. I don't have like a number one driver. I just kind of watch to enjoy the sport. You know.
Well, the thing is, two things I would say. First is that I think it's also very hard in motorsport, especially in NASCAR. Maybe not so much F1. Tristan, I'm sure you can attest to this. I know I can. When drivers retire, it is so hard to go back and be like, okay, now who do I like? You know?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
Dale Jr. retired. I didn't know who to root for.
Kevin Harvick retired. I'm now like, huh?
Yeah. I like a couple of guys, but I'm not sold on them. You know. I was actually just talking about this with one of my friends. I used to really pull for underdogs. I still do all the time.
Yeah.
But I had a couple underdogs that were making progress and getting better and were going to get top rides. And then scandals happened and then they stopped racing. That happened like twice. I was like, I'm just going to stop particularly.
What, Noah Gragson?
Noah Gragson was one. And Matt Benedetto was another one who he said something about the president in like 2016 and then his team dropped him.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was like that with like Riley Herbst, though. He didn't have any controversy. He just hasn't been as good.
No, he's just a dork.
Yeah.
After
that too.
After this week's race, I sent Steven that I'm pretty sure it's from the Kardashians, the sound. It's like, are you kidding me? No. And then it's like, you need to calm down. Like,
I know what you're talking about.
Like I was so mad, and then I was like, but it was Kimmy. He's just a baby, and I just moved on. And,
especially with how the way the two of them talked.
But I have absolutely.
Yeah.
But I also have like people that I like, or that I'll be like, okay, and this is gonna sound mean, but like as soon as it happened, I was like, okay, please, Lando, just don't win. Like that was all I wanted.
I get that.
Because not necessarily even because of my like dislike for Lando, but more because if Lando didn't win, then the gap between him and Max would be lower.
Yeah.
Like I've given up full hope of the championship, but if Max can stay closer to Lando, he can at least be second, and I feel like that's satisfactory. Like if you can split the McLarens in the car you have,
maybe
I feel like that'd be okay.
Maybe to answer your original question, or like what we're talking about, like people like turning off the race. maybe like if I was in your position, I would watch specifically to see if the McLaren screw up royally.
Yeah.
That would
Well,
be
see,
maybe
that's the thing too, right? I think it's actually easier, to your point, Marina. I think it's easier when your driver DNFs like that to hate on someone else and make sure they don't win.
That's true.
So many times in NASCAR that happens with me with like Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, and Denny Hamlin. I'm like, okay, my guy's out. As long as these guys don't win, I'm happy.
And then of course they like conveniently finish 1, 2, 3 that race.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like with Pato O'Ward, if Pato O'Ward goes out and like Alex Palou wins, or like,
oh god,
I'm like,
well, I don't really have a favorite in NASCAR. Like I'm a very casual NASCAR fan. It's like I'm not like committed to watching it every race weekend or whatever. But I like strongly dislike Kyle Larson, and so it's like if I see something on my Instagram that he's won, and I'm like, dude, no, like I didn't need to know that. Like just leave me alone. Anyways, let's get into some contract talk, which I know everyone loves. Because we didn't have a pod last week, I did want to quickly mention that James Vowles extended his Williams contract, which is great for Williams, great for James. I love that man.
When does it get
in the
extended
F1
to?
movie?
He was in the F1 movie.
When does it get extended to? How long does he get?
I don't know that I saw a date, but like I'm assuming a handful of years.
Interesting.
I think it was more just so like it's like a show of faith. It's like we've seen all the work you've put in, what you're doing as Williams, and we agree with it. We're happy with it. Let's continue moving forward together.
Now they just need a non-combustible engine, and we'll be okay.
Yeah, that's it.
No, for real. Because and I think it's funny too because it's the Mercedes engine, but in their most powerful customer team, nothing has happened. Like McLaren has had no issues with this engine, with this power unit, whereas all of both the factory team Mercedes, but also other customer teams like Fernando Alonso, Alex, Carlos, everybody's had issues with this power unit except for McLaren.
I'm gonna make a crazy parallel here. That this reminds me a lot. Maybe Jason, you can attend this as a Ferrari fan. I know as a car guy myself, Ferraris are great. We all know this. Maserati sucks, and the reason why is because they're a Ferrari's dumpster fire. And I feel like that's what Williams is, the Mercedes trash can. It's so they get all the crappy parts.
They're literally owned by what's now Stellantis, but the Fiat Chrysler group. Eventually Ferrari was spun off as its own thing, but they still, like you said, they're like A and B. Like Ferrari sells them engines sometimes. You know, they sell them parts. But ever since Ferrari split, and like they've gone from like the B team to like the C and D team of the automotive world for Ferrari, and now it's like not even close. You hit the nail on the head. Yeah, but what's also funny is you look at Mercedes' other customer team, McLaren, and they're literally winning the championship.
Well, you see what though? I see that as like not an anomaly, but kind of an outlier because Mercedes and McLaren have been working together for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Even in the automotive world, like they've been working together since the early 2000s. With McLaren F1 in the 90s.
I think it's interesting too because the media has asked. I don't remember hearing an answer from Lando on this, but they did ask Oscar about it, and Oscar was like, "We're not worried about it. Obviously, we've seen the issues, but we haven't seen anything in our data that suggests anything." So it's almost just like maybe this is
just
more
bad
like
luck. It's not even anything.
Maybe it's just that the other teams are relying more on their power unit. They've built a car where they have to use it more compared to like they have to extract everything out of it, whereas maybe the McLaren doesn't have to use it to that extent, if that makes sense. Like
because everybody's so tight aerodynamically.
I think they're
finding that extra tenth in the engine might be easier sometimes.
Yeah.
Or they just don't need that extra tenth in the engine, which is saving them from an explosion. I don't know. It could be any number of things. It could just be like said, they're lucky. They've just gotten lucky. But I think it's interesting. Speaking of interesting, speaking of interesting, it also ties into our original conversation about drivers retiring. Seb, he obviously recently got I think it was like a business management certificate thing from Harvard.
It did a thing, guy, of course.
Now the rumors has surfaced that he's in talks with Red Bull for a non-driver related role, which I'm 95% sure is Helmut Marko's role. And if that old man does not leave, like, now, Max, as a Red Bull fan, nobody likes you.
Can I just say, I think it's hilarious that like Seb went to Harvard. Wouldn't it be funny if he like ended up going to like ECU or something?
Yeah,
it's like a community college. Yeah,
like of course he had to go to Harvard. Like he got to
be pulled up to like Penn State Altoona.
Yeah, like sports marketing degree there.
He's like, yeah, here go Penn State. He's like, oh boy, welcome.
Where did Latifi go? That's like totally unrelated. But where did Latifi go?
Went somewhere in Canada. I thought he went to like Quebec.
Toronto. I thought I heard Toronto.
Yeah, he went somewhere in Canada.
Well, yeah, of course, Seb had to go to Harvard.
Didn't he get the same degree?
I think it was like a business management degree. Something like that.
Okay. But yeah, it's time for Helmut Marko to go. I agree.
Yeah. I just
Seb has said he wants to come back and he would be open to a management role. Yeah,
I think it's just the perfect role for him. Like, there's no one better to nurture young talent than Seb. Like, I feel like he's the perfect role model. He's also someone that, like, now we see him as, like, this chill, like, dad, like, kind of left the sport as more of, like, an activist and all this. But, like, he also had his, like, Max Verstappen era. Like, he was the crazy guy, like, a lot of, like, crashing and championship and feisty and whatnot.
Ignored team orders, like, all that kind of stuff.
I feel like he's in the perfect position to give advice. Yeah. Like, he's had such a big, like, a long, big career with multiple teams. So I feel like it just feels right for him to come back. Yeah. I would also dare to say it might be, like, Red Bull's, like, final straw to try and save their contract with Max. Because the other big rumor this weekend and before is that Max is in talks with Mercedes. George confirmed it. George was like, yeah, of course, Mercedes want to be back at the top. Of course, they're talking to the best drivers, including Max. So it's completely confirmed they're having talks. The question is, are they going to go anywhere? Because they've had talks before.
Which is so weird because I heard George is about to renew. Does like Toto is so blinded that he wants to drop Kimi? Like, is Kimi not doing as well as we think? Like,
I wouldn't say that.
I really don't think so. Like, would you? The only, like, alternative, because I always said, and if you go back far enough on the pod, and probably last episode, I firmly think it would be Max and Kimi. Like, it wouldn't be Max and George.
Yeah,
but
like, it wouldn't make sense to get rid of Kimi.
I think Toto was asked about Max and George, and he said, like, we've had Lewis and Nico, so it's not like it's that bad.
Yeah.
But I just genuinely don't see it. Like,
maybe he's afraid about 26. He's like, I want two veterans for 26. I can't have a rookie in 26.
But where would you put Kimi? Would you put Kimi in the Williams?
I mean, it's painful. Yeah, he would go to, like, Haas, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Kimi Haas is kind of like the part spin of F1. I feel like anybody could kind of show
Haas
up
is
there
the Maserati of F1.
Yeah.
I think.
Well,
yeah. Well, I think
not as bad.
I think Kimi and George can hold their breath a little longer.
Unless
I think they'll be okay.
retires.
What?
I doubt it.
This is a real, like,
Fernando.
Yeah, but you know.
But I really
who's up next for that seat in Aston Martin?
Max.
Yeah.
Max. I mean, be
or
for
Yuki.
real. Aston Martin.
Yuki.
Like, the more
yes,
I think
that's
about
it. That's who I thought. Yes.
Yuki's been in talks for it too. I think, though, the more I think about it, the more I find Aston as a better fit than Mercedes for Max, just because of, like, three core things. Aston Martin has three things that no other team next year will be able to compete with. They have the Honda engines, which Max likes. They're gonna have Honda engines. They have Adrian Newey.
Yeah.
And they can afford to pay him $100 million a year.
And they'll have a terrible second driver that will let Max win.
Absolutely.
It's perfect.
It's scrolling time.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have everything that I think, like, fits.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Mercedes is proven, so
yeah.
Well, if this is like an elaborate plan that, like, Toto
maybe for negotiations, yeah.
Toto
like, you might be negotiating with George and be like, hey, you know, Max will take this amount of pay and, like, you know, we'll pay you this much. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a negotiation tactic.
If I'll pay Max the 4-time world champion $50 million, then like I'm not paying you more than 35. Let's get that straight right now.
Let's see how team friendly you really are.
Does Max bring any sponsors to Aston Martin, or does he not really have? What is he?
Dutch Post, right?
He has
Dutch Post is crazy.
An 888 bet.
He brings Heineken.
Oh, Heineken.
Dutch
Okay.
Post, Viaplay. He has his own, like Verstappen.com sponsors his racing too. Which is his own. It's his own money.
I was always curious. Like, what is his like major sponsor?
I want to
say Heineken.
Heineken. Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Because they're Dutch, right? Or are they German?
Yeah, no,
they're Dutch.
Is,
German.
It's not German.
Okay.
They're from Holland.
It is? No, I don't think it is.
I thought it was German.
They're from Holland. It's a Holland.
You know what? They are from Holland. They are Dutch. Yeah. Because I went to the Heineken factory in Amsterdam.
There you go.
All right, so they're probably his biggest sponsor then.
Yeah. I was just thinking, what if this is a plan for like Toto to like, absolutely win now, get George and Max in there, get his championship.
I wouldn't be surprised. Max has another 10 years in him, and so does George. So really isn't that big of a loss to lose Kimi. Both Max and George have at least 10 years in them.
That's what I mean. It's Kimi is too valuable a resource. Like, unfortunately, Mercedes actually finds himself in a very enviable position of they have resources that they can let go that are unfortunately really good in order to acquire another really good resource.
It's kind of like Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton.
Oh my god, same thing. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Very
it's
similar.
Position. It's like you're letting
but
go
Lewis
of someone
is so much
very
older.
Good.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think Mercedes is kind of making Lewis look like an ass right now because they've proven that, like, all right, bud. Like,
Mercedes was right.
If you were here right now, I think George would still be coming in third rather than you, So
Like, I really think that, when you put it that way, and you're like, if Ferrari took Lewis, then, like, it's kind of a no-brainer to take Max and kick out Kimi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Though, I mean, you see how Lewis is doing right now, and you might question yourself a little bit.
No, but Lewis is also
even more of a no-brainer in that scenario.
8 years older, 9 years older, 10 years older.
But I feel like in the scenario you're saying, it makes even more sense to kick out George. George is the Carlos of the situation, not Kimi. I think
in the scenario,
a little bit, but it depends on how soon does Toto Wolff want to win.
My grandma, and she said I was crazy, but hey, I'll say it anyways. Can you imagine how good Kimi could be if Max was his benchmark? If Max was his assuming Max goes into that team rather than being like an asshole of a teammate, being a really good teammate that shares his telemetry, like you can see the raw racing in Kimi. Like you see some of the overtakes he attempts, and you're like, that's impressive, especially for an 18-year-old kid. Like I just keep going back to thinking, like, can you imagine how good he could be if Max was his teammate, giving him all the tips and tricks rather than George? Not to say George is a bad driver, but he seems very nice, and he does give a lot of tips to Kimi and to Dorian Pond and Formula One Academy as well. But I feel like it could be just that much better. Yeah, he could truly be the Max Verstappen of the future. He learned from the best.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Get Fernando
in a weird way. I also see. I think this might leak into another piece of news. But I see a Mercedes unlikely duo reuniting at Cadillac. Bottas and Kimi.
Right, I forget. There's 2 more seats next year.
Yeah.
So that's actually a fiery move. So that's where Kimi would go. Why not?
Or Audi even. Well, I guess that's a couple years down the
line.
Or maybe just George. Yeah. I'm still very set on this. Kimi's not leaving, but I mean, everybody's entitled to their own. Y'all can.
I felt that too.
It's
but
impossible.
When you think about it, if you think about 10 years for each driver,
do you really think Max is gonna last 10 years?
I think he's
27.
I think he could be 37, but I don't know that he would.
Yeah,
Max is not going to be driving in Formula One 5 years from now. You could quote me on that.
See, this is why Toto should pick him up, get that championship, move on.
Yeah, I wish I could retire. I wish I could bet on that right now. I think, and this is deep dive Max for people that have really followed what he says, because the Dutch have this very no bullshit attitude. So does Max. I mean, obviously he's Dutch, so it makes sense. But like, I just genuinely, from everything he said, don't think that he wants to be racing a full F1 calendar when his daughter, who was born in in December, September? No, sorry. When was she born? She was announced. They announced in Abu Dhabi whenever she was born in April or May. I don't think he wants to be racing when his daughter is old enough to know that he's continuously gone. Like,
yeah, it depends on.
I don't mean racing in general. I mean racing a full 24-hour count, like 24 race calendar. Like, I just don't see him like 5 years from now still being like racing the way he is.
Like, he could do WEC just fine.
Yeah, I see him doing something like WEC or, you know, whatever it is, because then you're not gone nearly as much. He can still do his side projects. He still wants to do the sim racing that he's doing and Verstappen.com racing or Team Redline or whatever. So it's like, I think he's got other things he wants to do. Like, I don't see him racing in F1 5 years from now.
That's fair. I also,
knock on wood, I'm wrong, but
in a weird way, I mean, if you look at a lot of, I hate to bring it back to NASCAR, but a lot of the new like era drivers in NASCAR, their fathers raced in NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
They grew up with it. Like, Chase Elliott was going to the track when he was a baby up until, like, Bill Elliott didn't retire until, like, early 2000s.
Which is
and
crazy.
Chase was, like, 10 or 11 at that point. And it becomes part of your life. I mean, granted, Formula One, it's a lot harder, probably, to get that kid to, like, every race like Chase would go to and stuff like that. Even Dale Jr. would go to the track with his dad all the time. But, like, I almost think some parents like that. Like, I understand it's an older generation of parenting.
Yeah,
there's different motifs.
There's a reason why so many college football players have kids in college for that specific reason, so their kids can grow up watching them.
Yeah,
there's a ton of drivers on this year's grid that came from racing families, from racing backgrounds. Like it's not like I wouldn't put it past him. Like, I'm sure it wouldn't be like crazy to think that, you know, Max would bring his daughter along to race weekends and stuff eventually. But like,
no, yeah,
I think, like you said, like it is harder in F1 to do
also,
that. So
the European culture is so much different. We're in the fact that, like, for example, like 10-year-old Chase Elliott, if that kid isn't in a go-kart in Europe at that point, then he has no chance of being a Formula One race car driver.
Yeah.
Whereas in the U.S., especially with NASCAR, like, there's no dreams of being in a car. Well, there is now, but like back then, until you're like 16 at the very minimum, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess there's a different. Those kids are just going to school at that point. They're just watching their dads, helping them out, whatever. Whereas, again, and if Max's kid wants to do it, then Max would want to take less time from himself and nurture that experience and make sure, hey, I mean, you guys tell me what they start at, like 6 years old now or something like that.
It depends on the driver. Like, I mean, I think Charles was like 3.
Oh man,
like in his first car. I want to say it was like 3 to somewhere between 3 and 7.
So like kind of exactly in the window that you just said, Marina, like kind of 5 years, so that, you know, when his child is eventually getting to that point, he has more time for to nurture it in a racing sense if they're interested in it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing too. Here's a question. I don't think there's ever been. I feel like I heard about it, but do we think that there will ever be a father-son duo or no mom-daughter duo in F1?
Mom-daughter duo?
Mom-daughter, no. Father-daughter, maybe. More likely, the joke would be more likely that it'd be Fernando Alonso with Max's daughter Lily. But I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. I think it's possible, but the way they're running now, where they're starting so early, I think they're gonna start ending earlier.
Could be.
Like, I genuinely don't see this generation of like. Well, I almost say they're rookies together, but they weren't. Like Max, Charles, like they're all the same age, but they started at different times. But Max, Charles, George, Carlos, like
Lando.
I don't know. I don't see any of them retiring anytime soon. But at the same time, I also don't think, because they started so early, that they're going to spend 20 years in F1. Like, they're not going to stop racing at 40 in Formula One, in my opinion. Like,
I mean, I'd be hard pressed to say that they would be racing. I think I'd be hard pressed to say that they would be racing for another 10 years, like you said with Max.
Yeah, I mean,
anywhere past that, I'm kind of like.
Well, think about it. Isn't this season 11 for Max? 15, 16,
so, right?
17. Yeah, this is 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so
if you want to put some perspective on it, I think it's just that's a testament of F1 being so difficult and so like go. I guess you could say like even a very old or older Max Verstappen might not earn his seat. I guess you could say at that point, which is weird to say. But like if you look back at like Dale Jr. and Dale Sr. Dale Sr. I think was like 47, 46, and Jr. was like 20 maybe. When they first started to race together in, I think 98 was his first season. So that was a father-son duo. But again, Dale Sr. was like 47
how did I forget
years
about
old,
that?
you know?
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I don't know. Of the modern era, who's like how old is Fernando?
I was gonna say, Fernando's like the only one who's like broken the mold. It feels like.
Yeah, like, but even then, that's 5 years, right? 43.
He's 43, yeah.
Well, July. Oh, yesterday was his birthday.
Was it really yesterday?
Yeah, July 29th, 1981.
Yeah,
no,
wait, July 29th?
Yesterday was June 29th.
I was gonna say.
God damn it, I'm an idiot. Shit. We're almost there. You know why I knew that was wrong right away? I was like, I didn't see any Instagram posts.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, there's no way I missed it.
No.
Like the F1 community is so on top of birthdays.
Yeah.
But speaking of father-son duos, I was very saddened to see that Carlos Sainz Sr. decided he wasn't going to run for FIA president.
Yeah.
That was depressing. Now my hopes lie with Susie Wolf because I cannot take another 4 years of Mohammed bin Salman.
No way she's gonna do it. Like, these people don't have bureaucratic like careers, you know. Like,
we need a purebred politician in this joint.
She does.
No, she's got a more honest career. Like, I mean, running an organization, like, I mean, that isn't like, there's no politics in being the head of, like, I don't know, the F1 Academy, I guess you could say. Like, the politics of being... They're definitely... Yeah, but I'm not saying, like...
If you compare it to the FIA president, though, it's not as...
I'm trying to... Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Is, like, in comparison to the FIA, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's like... That's like if you're running for mayor compared to president of the United States, if that makes sense. Like,
you're president...
of course there's going to be politics. Of course there's people who don't like the way you're doing things, blah, blah, blah. But, like... I don't know. I just don't see her doing it because I feel like also she'd be too good at the job. Like, they're never going to get somebody in there that's actually good at the job.
Sorry, you're overqualified.
What's his
Sorry, you're overqualified. Yeah, that was exactly my...
Yeah, I mean, literally. Like, literally. But,
you would fix F1? No, we can't have that.
Nah, I'm sorry.
That ruined the plot.
I don't know. I mean, that could be me just, like, on the spot, like, being a dumbass, but...
No,
I
would say it's like, you know, you're a junior like head coach, and you're all of a sudden trying to be like the head coach of like the Patriots or something. It's just
That's
like
rude. I feel offended. You mean to tell me women are less, Steven?
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Steven, go sit in the corner.
Time out.
Anyways.
No offense to
speaking of situations where women are less.
Oh no!
And if you've watched the F1 movie, you'll know.
No way. That's how we're gonna go into the F1 movie.
Yes.
No way.
There was absolutely no reason. If you've seen the F1 movie, I don't want to make too many spoilers. Obviously, you've seen it in the trailer.
I think you're gonna talk about.
You've seen it in the trailer, so I don't have to feel like as though I have to spoil it. But like,
no, it's just funny.
It is a female tech director. She's like a trailblazer, and that's who you decide the love interest is for this 60-year-old.
Oh,
and what is kind of funny is like at the start of the film, she was totally like, she set the vibe of like, yeah, I am the first female tech director. I'm doing a hell of a job with what I have. Like, and then I'm like, well, we all know where this is going. This is literally from the creators of Top Gun. They wouldn't put that in there if it wasn't gonna flip.
I mean, look at the original.
It was like way too predictable.
So for real,
exact plot to the original Top Gun.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Way too predictable. Like, absolutely not. Brutal. There's no way in hell. I can't let this happen. I respect the boundaries, and then by the end of the film, as you see in the trailer. Totally different.
Well, that's the difference. The original
But
Top Gun,
apparently-
the female instructor shows up, and then Maverick is all over her right away. Like, I love her.
You're the one.
Yeah, but apparently people liked it because it grossed. It's hit $144 million in the first 72 hours. So
you know what this means?
But good.
We're gonna have a new
Budget was
generation of
200.
fanboys and girls coming in.
see, but I have to say, if you have ever gotten hate for being a Drive to Survive fan, a DTS fan, if you will, you are now going to get the biggest slack you've ever been given in your entire life. Take advantage of it, because F1 movie fans are going to be much worse.
They just moved up a tier.
I gotta say,
The two of
without
you
spoiling
can't
anything,
even, like Jason
yeah.
and like
Mm-mm.
nah.
Well, without spoiling anything, I would say that the actual racing scenes were pretty realistic. Like, there's been times like
That's about all that was realistic in that movie.
There's other things, you know. I wanna hash it out with Marina of what I thought, but I won't spoil anything. But I would say you could feel that Lewis Hamilton, being a producer, made things a lot more realistic. As much as you could explain and fit into a blockbuster 2.5 hour movie, right?
Yeah.
Because you can have 2.5 hours on F1 itself on how it works and what to expect.
Oh, absolutely.
But they don't have all that time to explain and cover everything. So in the way that they did it to make it a movie, like some of the racing scenes are really intense. Even as a fan, I was like, oh
nice.
crap, he has DRS, he's coming up on him. I was like, oh my God.
It
was pretty good. It was pretty good.
I said this before the pod. I mean, I genuinely really did enjoy it as I was watching it. Like, if you're an F1 fan, you're on the fence of whether or not you should go. You'll enjoy it. And at the very least, it'll get you something else to complain about, because we complain enough about the FIA.
Oh, yeah.
but there are a lot of things that are unrealistic. And I would have hoped a little bit that, like with Lewis as a producer, there was just these like minimal little details that wouldn't have made the cut, you know? But like, I'm also like one of the easiest examples that won't spoil anything is like, we were talking earlier about the fact that it, for example, one of the scenes you like literally see the SF-23 and then all of a sudden the like 24. Like, it's like they used two different spec cars. You're not gonna like naturally tell. Like, it's like minute. It's these minute details that if you're not a super fan, it's not gonna bother you.
Do they have different paint schemes though?
Yeah, because it's a 2024 Ferrari compared to 2023 Ferrari.
I would hate
halfway. It's so funny. Halfway through the film, the Mercedes goes from the 24 Mercedes back to the 23 Mercedes. 23. It's like the funniest thing. But I mean, realistically, like, yes, teams changed livery and cars throughout the year, but it was pretty funny to see, like, oh, that's a different Mercedes.
Yeah,
that's funny.
So it's just little things. But yeah, I think if you're on the fence of whether or not to go see it, definitely watch. Definitely worth the watch. I'm happy I went to go see it. So
yeah, it was really entertaining. And my favorite things is it got a lot of the like racing people correct. Like, it's all the real drivers, all the real teams. You even got every commentator correct. They got Townsend Bell from NBC, who does the Rolex 24 Hours, right? He was a commentator. They got Martin Brundle and Crofty, right? They got Will Buxton on the grid walk.
Oh my God, Will Buxton was actually the best part of this movie.
Yeah, and also on the rewind, to like the flashback, Gordon Murray was commentating too. Like, how cool was that? It was the coolest thing because like there's the flashback and it was Gordon Murray saying it. I was like, holy crap. This is like I'm rewatching some highlights from the 90s, and it was but in the movie. Like, those things are what really got me excited about the movie, because you could throw a commentator in there. You didn't need the real commentators, but they did that, and it was so good. Like, I heard it was unbelievable for those types of details.
I heard they're already talking about making a second one.
Oh God!
They even had F1 TV. Well, like, it was so funny. For one of the flashbacks. For one of the flashbacks, right? This guy was looking up a replay on F1 TV and like the replay archives. That's cool. And I've done that before. So then to see that and then hear Gordon Murray talk from F1 TV, I was like, holy crap, this isn't like, you know how like in movies and shows, it would be like vidstream.com because it can't use YouTube. But and then it would be some random off-brand news report they like see on a rip-off of YouTube or Twitter. This was the real F1 TV with the real commentator and like real racing footage. It was the coolest thing, having like no disconnection for reality. It was like straight from reality. Obviously I'm really excited about those kind of details because the immersion was really there.
Yeah, the one thing you can't fault them for, and I think they get AA plus for, is they really did go through the effort of making it an F1 movie made through F1. They went through, Apple went through the process of getting all the approvals from F1, using, obviously it's like F1 the movie, so you have the logos, you have all the teams involved, all the drivers.
Boatload of copyright.
It's a boatload of copyright you got to get through for sure. So it's like,
I don't know how they got every single team to agree, and every single team has all their sponsors.
How do you get Max Verstappen to agree to be in this movie?
You got Max Verstappen in there. You had Fernando in there. Of course, Stefano Domenicali's in there. But if Michael Massey was still there, he would be in there too. But
I will say, I think Steven jokingly mentioned it.
They had the FIA in there. How cool is that? Like, I mean, that was a controversial scene and like realism, but like, they really had a guy dressed up in FIA gear with a clipboard. I'm like, holy crap! Is it just some random rules guy? It's like the FIA guy. Like, I was like, like little details like that were so cool and kept the immersion.
Tristan, what were you saying?
I think Steven jokingly mentioned it about a sequel, but on the
they are.
The F1
dead ass.
on the F1 Wikipedia, it says, following the early success of the movie, Variety magazine reported that a sequel was being discussed.
They're going to discuss about it. The question is, how do you? It's going to take a while. I think this one took a while, and you've got to get the right story again behind it. But then also,
and you would need to refilm all of it.
Yeah, can you bring this story to life with Brad Pitt still? I mean, I love the guy. He looks.
Let's get Brad Pitt get into a McLaren
40,
for real now.
Not 60.
But it wouldn't be Brad Pitt, I think.
Still 60.
No.
Yeah.
So,
if it would be Brad Pitt, it wouldn't be F1 again. It would be another series because, like, if you had to make another F1 movie, you have to go back to all the tracks. You have to film the tracks. Like, the standard was set really high in the realism, and I don't know if they're going to do that again because that took
honestly, I think it's just going to depend on how much this movie grosses.
Yes.
If they can make a considerable profit on this movie, which is a hard ask, then I think they'll have actual real talks about a second one. If not, I don't know that they will. But it's definitely a big moment for Apple. I would love to keep talking about this, but I do want to actually get into this weekend's race before.
Wait, there's a race?
Like an hour.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. One more piece of news. Austria is extended until 2041.
Good.
That is. I don't know how I feel about it. Can we have like?
Right at the
end of the good track.
Yeah,
I like it.
It is, but like I would rather them extend like Spa or. Or like the Netherlands. I love the Netherlands track.
I know Zandvoort. It's a really cool track in terms of like looking at it, but in terms of racing,
it's a looker.
I would just like it to stay on the calendar so that I can go to it selfishly. Because I feel like that is like a Max Verstappen fan.
You get dressed up as an orange, and
it's okay. I'll go to Austria instead.
They didn't even get some people. The grandstands didn't even get to see him drive by. Like they got to see the really formation lap.
Oh my god! Wait, Jake McGlinchey was there.
I messaged him. I was like, "You went," and he said it was pretty good.
Yeah, he really enjoyed it. It was his first race weekend. Shout out to our friend Jake McGlinchey.
What's up, Jake?
he really seemed to enjoy it. So I guess it was decent. Like I said, wasn't a fan because of the start. That's okay. I want to talk about qualifying real quick because if I told you going into this race weekend that I was shocked to see Lance Stroll have a Q1 exit, you would have said, Marina, you're lying. But all through practice, he was actually quite consistently quick. And so I was expecting at least Q2, and the man just disappeared off the planet, man.
Lance can only be good for so long, all right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, the multi-time podium finisher and pole position winner could only be on top for so long.
He's not Superman,
Yeah,
once
he's not Super Lance just yet. He's getting there.
Yeah. He's strolling along here. What I would say is I was surprised how well Ferrari did, because during practice, Marina needs a second. That was too much.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Well, that was pretty good. It's also, in my defense, 11:50 p.m. So we'll anything you say will be funny at this point.
I was surprised about Ferrari because in practice they were like 10th and 7th, 10th and 6th, and then they pull up and do 2 and 4 in quali, and like not even like a far 2 and 4, more like Lewis could have also been 2 and 3.
Yeah,
like that close. I mean, Norris was way ahead of everybody, but other than that, like incredible qualifying. I was pretty happy with that.
I will say, I don't say this often, but credit where credit's due. That was a very clean lap from Lando. It was a very nice lap.
Brings a tear to my eye, Marina.
Brings a tear to my eye.
Well, I mean,
I never claimed to be. I'm not mean. I'm not cruel. I am not an asshole. I give credit where credit's due. Always.
This is true.
When the helmet is off.
Mostly true.
The most unrealistic part about the F1 movie was George was not a tier 1 driver at moments. So
the most unrealistic part about the F1 movie was Brad Pitt thinking he could overtake Max Verstappen.
And guess what? It didn't happen, which is so funny.
I was gonna make the joke with if the only way it was realistic is if they had terrible camera shots. But
the camera shots are cool. They had like the front facing camera like flipped around to the driver. It was very cinematic.
It was very cinematic. It was very well done. But you know what else I really enjoyed? Speaking of Max, I really enjoyed watching Max give Gabriel Bortoleto a tow. That was very cute. And then Gabby talking about it after, saying I tried to give Max the same tow, but I couldn't. He even turned down his engine. He's like, I turned my engine like up to give him a tow.
But that's crazy. I wonder why. Wonder why Max gave him that. I guess he saw him and was like, might as well.
Well,
it's that green highlighter at the back of the grid. Like, I don't care about it.
It's hard to miss him.
Max he had the yellow flag from Pierre just like completely losing control of his vehicle. And so he already had the yellow flag. He wasn't going to prove anyways. He was like, I might as well give Gabby a tow. What I really liked after,
you'd love to see it.
He is very kind. People take him the wrong way, but
he is a nice guy.
Well, if he sees Total Wolf, that's really funny because 2021 Total Wolf hiring Max Verstappen would have been like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
but it might happen.
To be fair, he did say in Drive to Survive that he couldn't hire Lewis. He had promised Lewis that he wouldn't hire Max. So
but now Lewis is gone
waiting.
because Toto pushed him out.
All bets are off the table.
Yeah, all bets are off.
Wild.
Gabby was like talking about it after, and he was like, "Yeah, it was great. Like, Max is very nice. He always tries to give me a tow or whatever. Like." And then it was cute, too. Like, after Gabby gets points, Max is there doing his interview about why he DNF'd the race and is, like, hugging Gabby and being like, congrats on points. They have a very cute little, like, fun, lighthearted Brazilian relationship.
We were talking about this. I mean, obviously Max again is, only 27, right?
27.
Yeah. But he is giving such Funko vibes, it's not even funny.
No, he is. I mean, like, I feel like he's been the mom of the group for the rookies. And people said this after, I mean, we're like skipping ahead to the race now, but after he was crashed out by Kimi, and he like, I want to say he took it with such grace, but he was not angry in the media. He was very kind. He didn't even make like a shit face. He didn't look annoyed.
He wasn't happy. Did you see the radio though? That's the only one. That's the only thing.
It was pretty good. Freak out in the moment. Yeah,
he was in the moment. In the moment, adrenaline. He was like, these fucking idiots. But I think he was just. I don't know if
that happens when you get punted into the wall.
Yeah. I don't know. To be fair, I don't even know if he really met Kimi in that situation or everyone else around him because he was surrounded by so many like cars.
No. Yeah.
So it was just kind of everything together. But then I think, and people have commented about this. Everyone but Sky Sports will say it, but that he really is. It seems like he's really giving the rookies the grace and the understanding that he never got as a rookie. Like
because
he was this
that
young rookie that crashed into somebody and never, like, everybody was like, this guy's crazy, he's too young to be an F1, whatever. Like
they changed the rules because of him.
Yeah, I feel like he's making a very conscious effort to make sure the narrative around these rookies is positive.
Yeah. Good for him.
And I think that's sweet.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he's an asshole and he's covering it. I strongly believe I'm not, but
he's being nice to Kimi because he might be his teammate in the future.
The
4D chess.
Now we're thinking, yeah.
So how do you explain why he's nice to Gabby?
Maybe he's his teammate in the future. Whoa!
No, Gabby was literally on his boat last weekend, so...
Did y'all see, by the way, Gabby and Fernando talking to each other in Italian? I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, it was in Italian?
I didn't know.
In Italian.
I'm not surprised Fernando knows Italian, but I'm surprised that Gabby would.
Well, Gabby
grew up in Italy. He's been living there since he was 11.
He grew up in Italy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Fernando's been...
But I don't know why I expected them to speak Spanish with each other.
Yeah, that are like Portuguese even.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if Fernando knows Portuguese.
No, but I would bet that Gabby knows Spanish. Just because I feel like it's so easy for us to pick up. If you know Portuguese, you know Spanish.
Like, and obviously, Fernando knows Italian. He was with Ferrari for a while. Yeah. That doesn't mean he learned Italian. He's at Minardi. His very first team was an Italian team. So, I don't know.
He's a certified Italian.
Now, he's honorary Italian. Yeah.
Just like, Valtteri is an honorary American.
Yeah,
or
he
Australian,
might be official, too. Once he gets to official American, if he gets his caddy ride.
Did y'all see the video that he posted?
Yeah, looking at the Escalade.
Looking at the Cadillac.
Oh yeah.
For those that haven't seen it, it's like somebody. Yeah, it's like somebody opens the door to an Escalade, and he's like, "Is this a nice seat, Valtteri?" He's like, "It's a very nice seat." And the guy on the camera is like, "Look, it's empty." He's like, "You're right. It is an available seat." He's like, "Do you want to sit in it?" And Valtteri's like, "Maybe I will.
Yet.
I don't know. Not yet. Soon, maybe."
Yeah.
It was like such a cryptic video.
Yeah.
It was so weird. It's like, is this a Cadillac ad?
I guarantee you he's already kind of signed a contract with Cadillac.
I think so. I bet the media team were like, can you drum up some like attention? Kind of like how Google would leak their Pixel phone intentionally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it would make it feel like, oh my god, the secret's out. The new Google Pixel is coming, right? But nobody would care because it's the Google Pixel. So it didn't work. Like, it was the iPhone leaked, then people would freak out. But it's the Google Pixel.
Anyways.
So. Cadillac can just announce their roster whenever they want, right? I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised they're waiting this long. To be fair, I feel like it'll probably happen like around the summer break.
Yeah. But they either wait then or they will before like at the end of the season to like drum up attention when nothing else is happening. Yeah.
Speaking of when nothing else was happening, Carlos Sainz decided to like just do nothing at the start. Yeah. And then his car just like went kaput.
Yeah.
The start was delayed.
He chose
15
he chose
minutes,
Plan C for chaos. If you know, you know.
But he didn't even get to race. Like it sounded like his brakes were just stuck on.
Yeah.
Which meant that even though he was in first, because he's like, guys, I'm in first on the grid, which is like, don't you need to be in first to start? But if you're in first and the brakes are on, like, that might be tough to not stall it while pressing the gas, right?
He did a burnout the entire, just,
and then he rolled in and it just kept burning and burning and burning. Yeah. Like, usually you run up with the extinguishers put out and it's done. But, like, they had the blowers on it. They had multiple extinguishers and the fire wouldn't go out. It was, like, still cooking.
I'll tell you what, I would not want to be the mechanic trying to get those brakes to come off.
It smells horrible. Like Ted Kravitz in the pit lane was, yep, that's definitely the smell of burning brakes. I love carbon in my nostrils. Like,
really wakes you up in the morning.
Yeah, I want synthetics in my lungs. Exactly.
Speaking of the start, how do you feel about this new aborted start procedure? Because I don't know how I feel about it.
What do you mean?
The
red flag it?
Well, the fact they had 15 minutes, right? And they had to reset everything.
Yeah, they have a 10-minute like restart delay. But that wasn't the case last year. Last year they sat on the grid.
I liked it.
Well, no, they would do one more formation lap and then pull one lap off the race. Except this time they had a pause, which as a fan,
they still took a lap off. Yeah.
Which as a fan I don't like because it's 10 more minutes I have to wait for the race to start. I'd rather than just do one lap and then go.
It was perfect timing for me because, for context, I went to church. My local church only has mass at 8, so of course mass is typically an hour long. But I got out probably when the race was about to start, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna put on my phone, listen to it, maybe park somewhere and try to listen to it. And of course, see Carlos' car goes kaput. I'm like, I'm gonna be able to make it home in time for the race to start. Let's go. So it worked out nicely for me. But I'll say also, it almost happened again with Nico Hülkenberg. The fact that he couldn't get his car started. I don't know if y'all saw that too.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he almost didn't make the second formation lap. He was slow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know, man. Guys, they just can't get off the line.
Yeah.
Car gotta go, fundamentally.
Yeah.
Fundamentally.
That's like the starter first thing in the book. It's like car has to move.
Car has to move.
Car no go, car no win. Yeah.
That and concede position to blue flags, which seemed to be a very contested point this weekend. Like,
yes.
Also in the movie too. No spoilers, but that happened.
I'm half convinced that Franco thought the car went by him. Like the car that went by him was Oscar, and so he was closing the door on Yuki, but it was Oscar.
Yeah, he's like, haha. Oh.
I don't even think he knew he was there. I thought he was so focused on the car in front, and he was trying to overtake. He just assumed he was farther behind because you go through corners second, and the guy's like not even alongside you. You're like, oh, they'll still be behind me. I think he just totally forgot. Like, he didn't even look.
Well,
hey, you know what, Tristan? You know what solve this problem?
I hate that we keep going back to this.
Get them in. It's easy. Gives people jobs. It's great.
It's great for the economy. It's great for racing.
Everybody's
great for the economy. Which one?
All of them.
All of them, man.
Every
100% of your problems. Get a spotter today. Call 1-800-SPOTTER.
There you go. I'm gonna start a company.
Absolutely.
Good. You can get a spotter in daily life. You can get a guy who just sits on your roof all day and be like, well, mailman's coming. 5, 4, 3, and it's in the box. There it is. Ring cameras are overrated. It's stupid. I'm gonna buy a turret on the top of my house.
Through AI, we got spotters in real life, baby.
Yeah. It's gonna be good.
You like sit him on his car, like when you're parked. He's like, "You got 5 minutes left on the meter. You got feed the meter."
Yeah. You're going to the drive-through. He's looking at your car, making
trucks here. You better get home. 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
We're going on Plan C, Carlos. The ice cream truck is 5 minutes down the road.
They have to be British. They all have to be.
No, you want American because they're all American.
Boys without telling me you have a podcast with 3 boys.
Everyone needs a spotter, man.
He
can be your caddy. Like you don't need a caddy at golf course.
They can serve more than one purpose.
Spotters are us. That's gonna be the name of the company.
Yes,
spotters are us.
Yep.
We look out for you.
You never need to check your blind spot again.
We have a name.
He will check for you.
A word. LLC. Right away. It's happening.
This is $1 billion company right here.
True. Fundamentally.
Mm-hmm. Anywho, while me and Tristan are going to save the world, you guys can go continue, I guess.
How do I even, segue this?
I don't know, get a spotter and it'll help you out.
And you would have him, scout things, too. Like, if you don't know if you should see a movie, send them first. He's like, yeah, it was a good movie.
Are you not sure that you
or if it's bad, be like, don't watch it. Like, it's bad.
Don't waste your time.
Here, I got you. You want to segue it? So, Max Verstappen DNF'd. Kimi Antonelli punted his ass.
And his engineer was not there.
Arguably, Kimi did Max a great favor, so that Max can get his penalty points and get banned.
Yeah, and GP wasn't there. So like Max didn't have to deal with the race
really
with somebody else.
spotter. Come on.
I'm not gonna lie, GP not being there was very stressful for me.
See,
Like,
I thought you could say for Max, like you're accepting,
for
but,
me. I finished the weekend like, oh god, here we go.
Oh my goodness.
Just like a bad omen kind of thing.
Oh yeah, because Max hasn't raced without him.
Yeah.
Since 2016. So
Where
it's
would
like
Max be without his spotter, man? Wow, I just said spotter. Look at me.
Dude, you're all in on this.
Apparently I am.
I do want to talk about the Racing Bulls because since when we were trying to figure this out. If you know the answer to this question, drop in the comments. When was the last time a Racing Bulls was the sole point scorer out of the Red Bull cars?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to
No
this
Red
question.
Bulls in the top 10. Only a Racing Bull of
only
some.
A very
let me see.
slow Yuki Tsunoda in like last place.
I don't think it was the 2019 German Grand Prix because Max was on the podium with Daniel Kvyat. Yeah, so Max won the race and Daniel Kvyat was third in the Toro Rosso.
That would mean a Red Bull finished. I'm saying, when was the last time Toro Rosso was the sole point scorer?
I'm telling you, I think it's just not. I don't think it's ever happened before.
Maybe it happened before Max was at Red Bull.
Did it happen in 2008 when?
See, now we're going back to 2008. I was
thinking maybe when Seb drove for Toro Rosso.
Oh.
The first thing that came to mind was like even something more recent of like Monza or 2019 or something, like something where it was like when or not 2019, it was at 2020 when Pierre won. Was there a Red Bull in the points that day?
When Pierre won
Monza, was that Monza, like I think it was Monza 2020, 21, something like that.
Oh, I got it. I think I got it. It was the 2019 Brazilian Grand Prix. Oh no, but Max won that. Because Pierre Gasly finished second, and there's no other Red Bull cars for the other top 10.
But Max won.
Wait, I think Kvyat was our Marina might have got it. Yeah, no, wait, yeah, it was 2020 Monza. Pierre Gasly won the race. No, wait. No, Daniel Kvyat came in 9th.
Oh, yeah, but that's still an AlphaTauri.
That's an AlphaTauri.
Yeah. So it went AlphaTauri, McLaren, Racing Point, McLaren, Mercedes, Renault, AlphaTauri, Racing Point.
Yeah, and Albon was 15th.
Albon was 15th, yeah.
In the Red Bull.
Jeez. Okay.
All right, and that was legit on pace. Like he finished the race 15th. Yeah.
We figured out the answer to the question. If you made it this long, there's your answer.
There you go.
You're not going to get now. Sorry.
Marina was not having my bullshit of it's a new thing.
Or maybe it's just like never happened before. But he was the highest qualifying Red Bull driver with P6, and then he finished, I want to say he finished 6th or 7th.
Crazy. Liam Lawson beat Max Verstappen. Imagine saying that during the Chinese Grand Prix, and then you found out he was in a Racing Bulls when he did it.
Yeah.
Nah, it's crazy.
Liam
Lawson, I'm happy for him. It was a good race. He did a one-stop.
He did.
Yeah. He's a good driver.
And I think arguably another driver that could have done a one-stop, that wanted to do a one-stop but wasn't allowed to, was Lewis. I literally would not have made it to this podcast without saying that. My grandma was staring at me. She's like, "You're gonna talk about it, right?" Because they didn't even show it on the broadcast. But Lewis was so annoyed because he kept saying, "My tires are good. I don't want to pit. I'm fine. Like, how many laps are there left?" And Ferrari's 20 laps, and he was like, "I don't want to come in. I don't want to come in." And they got aggressive with him. They were like, "Box now." I want to. In my head, they were protecting the team in the fact that if Lewis had boxed, there's a chance he'd finish ahead of Charles because he wasn't going to stop.
I don't think that's that big of a deal. Yeah, no.
But
I don't think that's that big of a deal.
It's similar to that of last year when it was Oscar and Lando. It's if you pit one first, it's the strategy changed the result within a team.
Oh, and just quick shout out to Fred Visser. Great line in the movie. All right,
this movie lives rent free in Jason's head.
You just see the gears
I'm just thinking of how real it was because I hate movies. Sorry for the sidetrack, but I hate movies where it feels unrealistic because the red team's Ferrari. or if it's like a football movie, like the silver and blue team's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like but you can't say it's the Cowboys. But in this movie, you did. Like the Gran Turismo movie, I didn't even watch it, but like every single race was like super fake, and it was all at the Hungaroring. It was like they even raced the Hungaroring backwards, and like called it Silverstone or something. They pulled off some like wild stuff that like non-racing fans wouldn't pick up. But if you even watch like a couple races, you'd be like, that's the same track earlier in the movie. Like, are you kidding me? Like, like that would annoy me to no end because it like totally unimmerse me. It'd be like, this is
they're racing at the same track.
That movie doubled its box office. That's crazy. Its budget was $60 million. It got $122 million in the box office.
I didn't even think it was because I get mad about stuff like that. So
it was awful.
So sorry, Marina. Keep on going, but I just had to mention
poster.
that.
Poster says "From gamer to racer." Shut up, dude! Oh my god,
he is.
Bomb-ass movie deserved to earn like $1 million, maybe.
He is William Byron.
Oh my god.
Anyways, I don't know. I think it's interesting.
That's a surprising take. Marina. I wouldn't have thought that.
I think it has everything to do with them not wanting Lewis to finish in front of Charles, which, to be fair, there's definitely an underlying like Charles is still our number one there, but like how do you bring in a 7-time world champion and not have him be your number one? Which we talked about coming into the season was how do you balance the two?
Well, so when he's like 40,
anything, so
it's kind of like, we all know Lance Stroll's the number one driver, so like the same situation here.
Well, this year it seems like that might be the case.
Yeah. Lance Stroll 25, Lance Stroll 26, Lance Stroll 20. Like, you remember the video they did, Grow the Grid? Like, name all the champions. It's like, and then Lance Stroll, after naming all of them, is like, well, in the future, it's going to be Lance Stroll 21, Lance Stroll 22. Lance Stroll 20. He just keeps going. It's so funny.
My gosh.
It's so good.
Shall we wrap up with our predictions for the next race?
Say fun fact about the predictions. Silverstone, the UK, conveniently on 4th of July weekend. So that is
I
think out of spite, I have to put a Haas driver in P1. It'd be hilarious.
We've ever seen some American flags up there in Silverstone.
By putting a Haas driver in P1. Oh no.
We still yet to get these right, so
I know. It's tough. Yeah. Well, I mean, so what? So this past weekend, it was Lando, Oscar, and then Charles.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been pretty predictable. But
well, see, you'd think so afterwards, but then in the moment, it's like, no.
Charles is finishing in 8th, clearly. Like, this has to happen. Like,
totally.
All right. Okay, so Silverstone. Do we see Magic strike twice? Lewis go back to back?
I'm feeling the British bias too, yeah.
Oh,
I'm putting him 1 just because.
Okay, I'll let you have that. I'll go something else. I'm going to go George 1 then. George 1.
Rule Britannia.
Rule Britannia. Britannia rule the waves. So George P1, just out of spite, Lando P2. And then in 3rd, I'm going to go Max Verstappen. That's my 3.
Nice.
Wow. Okay,
nice.
George,
you know what?
Lando, Max.
Yeah.
That's not horrible, actually.
No, it's not horrible.
The fact that you don't have Oscar on the podium kind of blows my mind, but anyways.
We've seen crazier, yeah.
That's true.
Jason?
Yeah, you ever heard me? Now, the racing fan in me wants Lewis to win really badly. So I'm putting Lewis P1. Of course, top tier driver George Russell P2.
Oh gosh!
But I think Oscar is definitely going to be P3. So still, Britannia is still rolling the waves here. But
Rule Britannia.
Steven and Steven's British flag.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Feeling very patriotic today. No. I didn't remember actually.
Do you want to go back to England?
No.
Do you want to go back?
What?
You said you're feeling very patriotic after mentioning the Union Jack behind you. I'm like, should we ship you back? Should we dial up the Mayflower too? Somebody get that thing built. We're going back.
We got a traitor.
Yo, I'm German.
I'm calling up King Charles and is like, hey, I got this guy with a weird flag in his room. It looks like yours. we're gonna ship it back.
Dude, you're getting tarred and feathered, bro. That's what's happening.
Reverse Boston Tea Party out here.
All right.
No, I remember.
Podium.
I remember being very patriotic last year also that I actually predicted all 3 British drivers would be in the top 3 last year. I remember that.
And you were wrong, but...
Well, close, I guess.
Yes.
2 of them were in the top 3.
Yeah.
Ish.
But going Lando P1, going Oscar P2, George P3.
Wow, this would be big for the championship then. That would mean George would go into P3 for the championship.
Yeah. Shocker. I think the McLarens are going to be quick. Wow.
Whoa.
Really?
What a hot topic.
Whoa. Slow down there, Speed Racer.
I'm going to go Oscar, Max, Lando. Because I think, shocker, I still think Max is going to make Lando his bitch, as he has done on many a time. So, y'all know I like to shoot the shit.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's never going to happen. The McLarens are just too quick. We all can say whatever predictions we want. At the end of the day, it's going to be a McLaren 1-2 and then some other random driver third. So,
Ollie Berman.
On that note, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned next week, same time-ish, for more content. In the meantime, stay up to date on our socials at Let's Latest on Instagram and TikTok. Bye, guys.